Lawmakers are heading back to Capitol Hill today with the government shutdown appearing more likely. The deadline to avert that shutdown is October 1st. That's this Sunday. Joining us right now is Pennsylvania Democrat Congressman Brendan Boyle. He is the lead Democrat on the Budget Committee. And Congressman, thank you for being here, first of all. We know that this is a more likely scenario that we see a shutdown. What would be the odds that you give it that we actually do shut down the government at this point?
Yeah, it's great to be back with both of you. And unfortunately, it does appear as if we're headed toward a government shutdown. The cruel irony of this, of course, is that a solid majority, a bipartisan majority in the Senate, do not want a shutdown. And frankly, I think that if we're allowed to vote on a clean continuing resolution, if Kevin McCarthy put that bill on the floor tomorrow, I think there are well over 218 votes that would pass it in the House. So unfortunately, though, the Speaker continues to attempt to broker a deal with the Freedom Caucus extreme MAGA types who keep asking him for everything. He gives in and says yes, and then they say, no, that's not good enough, and they move the goalposts on him. So at the moment, that's where we are. A lot of hard work to go between now and midnight Saturday night, and hopefully we can save this.
You know, earlier last week, we heard that Congress was going to be asked to stay and work through the weekend. That fell apart. That didn't happen. So what happened over the weekend to say, OK, now it's Monday and now we think we're going? Have you heard anything? What are the rumblings at this point? What are the possibilities?
Yeah, last weekend was inexplicable to me. I mean, I was one of a number of members who canceled everything that we had in the district, having been told that we were going to be there working at least until Sunday, and then because of the Jewish holiday, and certainly wish everyone well who's fasting today for Yom Kippur. But then all of a sudden it turns out the Republicans couldn't even pass the rule bill on Thursday, which is truly shocking. No majority party had lost a procedural vote like that in 20 years. And now Republicans have lost it twice in a week. So after that happened, Kevin McCarthy came up with, I don't know if we're on Plan D or Plan E at this point, but the reality is this intra-Republican fighting and the dysfunction in their caucus is what will, in the end, bring about this shutdown if it comes about.
We had Mick Mulvaney and Heidi Heitkamp on earlier today. Mick Mulvaney pointed out, look, this is what you get when you have such a small majority in the Congress. There's only 5 votes that Kevin McCarthy can lose, and so therefore, any of those Republican members who decide to step up and say anything have much more weight than they would otherwise if he had a comfortable majority, 15 to 20 or something like that. I mean, well, we are talking about both sides being quite a bit more aggressive, and it's hard to find common middle ground. Having said that, Nancy Pelosi was able to manage her caucus and keep things in order.
With the exact same 5-seat majority. No, genuinely, Mick is a friend, and he's attempting to both sides something that can't be both sides. The reality is Democrats had the exact same 5-seat majority for the last 2 years, and you didn't see any of this nonsense. That's number one. Number two, we can have bipartisan compromise, and this isn't a hypothetical. We proved it in June. I've talked about it before in your program. That bill that we passed in June to raise the debt ceiling, as well as to set spending levels for the next year, 80% of House Democrats joined 67% of House Republicans and voted for that. Unfortunately, since then, Kevin McCarthy has reneged on that deal. We need to get back to it. In the end, I do believe that is ultimately what is going to fund the government for the next year. It is going to look exactly like the overwhelmingly bipartisan deal that we already approved in June. The faster we get back to that, the better we all will be.
Okay, let's talk just realities of what this would look like. If there is a shutdown, what are you doing right now to try and make it as least impactful as possible? Explain to your constituents what this is going to look like. Explain to American businesses and people.
The best way to predict future behavior is look at past behavior. And so if we look at past shutdowns, take, for example, the one that happened when Donald Trump was president in 2018, you had then a $6 billion reduction in terms of the economy. That's according to the Congressional Budget Office. You also had, again, according to CPO, CBO, about 140,000 fewer jobs created as a result of that government shutdown. Just yesterday, Mark Zandi, who I think has been certainly in the pro-soft landing camp, he tweeted out that we cannot rule out a recession, most of all because of the possibility of a government shutdown. So the reality is, and some of my colleagues who are openly calling for a government shutdown right now, they're attempting to put forward the narrative that it'll have no impact on the economy, that no one will suffer. That's just not the case. When you're furloughing that number of workers, even if you end up paying them in retrospect, there is an impact in economic activity.
You mean stuff that doesn't get bought that's not going to get bought later?
Yeah, and then those are jobs then that aren't created that would have been created. And I cited the data from the 2018 shutdown. The 2013 shutdown showed exactly the same. In fact, every shutdown, there have been more than 20 of them that have happened since the 1970s. They have all had a negative impact to a varying degree on our economy.